Good morning, everyone. It's what time is it actually? 6:46, so about 6:45. Got today and tomorrow off, and wanted to make a wee bit of a video on the car that I bought as a replacement for my white Legacy about 6 months ago after the accident. So yeah, so here we are. It's pretty nice vehicle. Not perfect, but not like ratty as hell. And I'm a decent bit through like the process of getting it up to my specification, and sort of tidying it up. So I put 18s on it and everything. So yeah, same engine, same transmission. So yeah, righto. Let's go for a wee drive, shall we? So yeah, I've done a couple of things. First and foremost, I put in some lights. You can't see them because it's daytime. It's pretty hard to see unless it's nighttime. And I put that screen in, and yeah, not really much else. Yeah, it's full leather interior. I've had a lot of things fixed. Not anything particularly mechanical. I have had the right CV assembly replaced, excuse me. I probably need to do wipers at some point because they're starting to streak a wee bit, so we'll watch the old camera, because it's even with, I'm not particularly tall, I'm only like 5'10", even with this on my head, yeah, it still starts to scrub a little bit if I'm not careful. So we're going to turn the radio off because we don't want copyright. So yeah, it is just the CVT transmission, which really is not much to say. It works okay. Just flick those off. Pretty damn good at sound system. Not gone into too much detail because we're not listening to the sound system. That could always be for another video. Driving. Righto. Let's take it for a wee drive, I think. Oh yeah, there's no one coming. It's Friday. And I would have thought that someone would be coming down the street this time of day. You know, given that it is a weekday. Interesting. Yeah, so I probably need new wipers because I've just started playing up now. Yeah. So this one is a bit different from the old Legacy, mostly in cosmetics. Engine transmission wise, this has about, compared to when I got the Legacy, which had 278,000 Ks when I bought it, this had 243,000 when I bought it. It's now at 251, so I've had it longer and I put more Ks on it. I put around 7,746 Ks on it. I haven't reset the trip since I bought the car. I'm always so gentle on cornering, especially right in this car because of the old CV axle being an absolute clicker. What was I saying? Yeah, I put a fair few Ks on this. I've done a lot of driving in this car. It is my daily driver, so it does generally take me to work pretty much every day, late or early shift. Yeah, it's it's a really solid vehicle. surprisingly robust for a Subaru. Because like I'm not gonna state that Subarus have a particularly great mechanical record. They don't generally, but I will say that this particular generation of Subaru is pretty good reliability wise. It's sort of where Subaru started focusing more on maturing their lineup of legacy and outback vehicles. So it's definitely a more refined vehicle for family people. So you know this can happily drive around your wife and kids quite happily. It's a very smooth vehicle. It's not like the old legacies of old, where you know some of them had a bit slightly harder ride. This doesn't have a particularly firm ride. It's not particularly soft either. It's sort of in the middle. It's fairly compliant, but it doesn't. It's not too roly-poly. It changes direction really well for such a big vehicle, and this is a big vehicle. If you've driven one of these before, they're not small. It's big. It's a big car. It's wide. It's a little. It's quite long for its class. It's a mid-size wagon. So it's fairly long. Just hop on the old motorway. Not the motorway. The road up to the tip. This is the drive that I do every single day. So I get into a habit of upshifting the transmission, because it does have pedal shifters, of course, which is interesting, as you'll probably expect. For a CVT, having pedal shifters, it doesn't make a huge amount of sense, but it does make the drive slightly more interesting, I suppose is the word I'm looking for. And the transmission has got pretty good health. It feels very smooth. You don't get shift shock, obviously, even using the manual mode, because it is faking the gears. You know, you've got 6 pre-programmed ratios. I'm not going to use the term gear because it's technically incorrect. You've got 6 pre-programmed ratios on the transmission that will allow you to shift through the pre-programmed ratios and have a bit more fun. And it does make for an interesting ride when you're just driving on the back roads. This isn't a particularly powerful car. It can get out of its own way perfectly fine. It's not particularly fast or anything like that. But yeah, it's got more than enough grunt. It's around 170 brake horsepower and 170 newton meters of, sorry, 170, not newton meters, pound-feet of torque, which directly translates to around 230 newton meters of torque. So again, it's fairly standard figures. So it goes fairly alright. That was not quite full throttle, but close to, and it gets up to the speed fairly efficiently for a 4-cylinder. It does get a little bit raspy in those higher revs, but it certainly gave the Hilux the fucking gap, so that's more than enough for me. Obviously, with the smaller engine, the 2.5 litre SOC Boxer, and the size of the vehicle, you are going to suffer if you start loading it up, very full. It will still go up the hill perfectly fine. So transmission gully is generally the good test of how well a vehicle carries luggage and people, and it does better than a Suzuki Swift. It does around the same as, say, a maybe a little bit worse than maybe a 2.5 litre V6 IS250 in terms of torque. It's actually a pretty torquey motor. This engine doesn't really like to rev. It revs pretty slow, if I'm honest. In terms of how, general outright acceleration, again, it's not really a sports car, but the torque is there. It's 230 newton meters of torque out of a single cam 2.5 litre box. That's not bad. It's actually decent torque, and the power, while it's modest, it uses it well. And as you will have noticed, just accelerating and using the car the way it's designed, and working with it, it will accelerate fairly quick for 170 horsepower. This car weighs around 1600-ish kilos, based on what I had the tip scale weigh me at when I came out of the tip. And that's minus the second person in the car. So it's not light. Again, it's not a light vehicle. It's a big car, but it's very comfortable. It handles quite well for its size. It's probably not as nimble as you'd like a car to be if you were going to go and start throwing it through some tight bends. But I'll tell you what, it'll do it. We've had 2 of these now, and we've now got an Outback in the with a 3.6 litre engine. You will be able to do a lot more than you imagine with these cars. They are quite robust. Again, I can't tell you much on mechanical side of things because I've only owned Legacies for about going on 8 months. So I've owned 2. This is my second one, and we've got an Outback that's been around a bit less time than this. And I can tell you, I've not had any immediate issues with the cars. They're generally pretty solid vehicles. And I actually really have quite an enjoyment in driving these cars. So you do miss out on the small car throwaboutness, and it's not very twitchy, but it does change direction really well, and it's just very smooth and linear. So yeah, I recommend this car to anyone that wants a fairly low price semi-premium wagon or sedan, or mini SUV if you're going for an Outback with a 3.6 litre engine, or a sedan with a 3.6 litre engine, or even just the 2.5 litre stock boxer. I mean, it is an adequate motor. It's adequate for what you need it for. It's not going to blow your socks off, but when you use it right, it's slightly surprising what it will deliver. I think its factory rated times to 100 is about 9-ish seconds. So it's not blazingly fast. But you definitely get a decent push. The engine will push forward. You can feel the NA torque. You can't really feel the power, it's just the torque that you'll feel. But yeah, no, I recommend this car. I've had literally no issues with it, just maintenance things. Previous owners were a bit slack on maintenance, so yeah. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this video, guys. And I hope you have a good day. Thank you.